is from the Luna, I would say that's probably the most important thing this game. And if they do not aggro, like you mentioned, then I think things are going to be much, much worse for MAX.Y.
Oh, let's use it. Got some Chinese bants coming on, Ben. But is this? Can you translate, Ben? Is this friendly? Are we seeing some flame here?
I can't. I don't know what those words are.
Okay.
Johala, it means it's okay, or yeah, it's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
okay.
So they're possibly saying something's wrong, and they go, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Dien is power.
Power.
Yeah, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know if. I don't exactly know what it is. I can only catch bits and pieces here and there. Wait, they already did the clockwork deny. He has 6 souls. I was looking at last hits denies. He has 6 souls. That's something that we've seen sometimes, but I haven't seen it recently.
No, I don't think we've seen any Shadow Fiend clock, actually.
I've seen it before.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it before, but
Yeah,
not here.
Not this tournament.
Yeah.
So he should have at least 12 souls, likely 18 souls before the creep spawn.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty. I mean, I guess it certainly does help in this mid matchup, but as you mentioned, they're already going to have a bit of an issue against the Tinker.
Yeah, with this,
So
I think it should be
you're golden, aren't you?
Shadow Fiend favorite, yeah. I mean, you're talking about getting an additional 36 damage. That's crazy. It's absurd.
Yeah, one of the features of Dota 2.
I don't think you can do it with anyone else. Maybe Venomancer?
Can you still do it? They didn't. Yeah, you still do it with Veno, can't you? With,
Yeah.
with Roshan.
But Roshan, I'm not sure.
But it's a little less.
They buffed Roshan, didn't they, relative to level 1?
So what's your point? What, he one-shots the wards now?
He might. I'm not exactly sure.
You're right.
How much
actually.
damage does Roshan do? He does 65. I think the wards have 75 HP, so yeah, he probably actually does not one-shot them.
Okay, so you can still deny them. Yeah. There's no one else. You used to be able to. You can't do Bateki's mines anymore, can you?
Techie's mines, no.
Nah. Which is weird. I wonder why they left the clock one.
So wait, did they have the Shadow Demon hit it once, and then Shadow Fiend does it? Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how you have to do it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you ain't gonna have the time to hit the most.
Yep. So 9 souls. Are they going to keep doing it? It looks like they're all heading forward together. There's another one. They
Is he
can do
gonna-
it one more time. They should.
Yep. There we go. He gets some more of those tasty, tasty souls. Yeah, you get 3 each time. You just use a couple more, and it'll be maxed out the 18. But look at this. MAX.Y actually coming in with a smoke. They'll have the high ground advantage. Now, let's see who comes out on top of this. Look at the lead in onto the clockwork. They got the Shadow Fiend trying to turn around and offer some punches, but it's not going to happen. As MAX.Y get themselves first blood hit.
And they're going to get three bounty runes.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, perfect control because of that positioning, yeah.
That's what you get for sitting in your base. There are actual downsides to doing this. They
punished.
No, to be fair, they could have just left the base and done it with each call cooldown, but they got really greedy and wanted full mana on the clockwork, despite him having a clarity. So, yeah, there's a trade-off. I think it could be perfected a little bit better, but it's still pretty decent. You can't get the clockwork to hit it, or else he'll just one-shot them. So you need another hero there to be able to execute this. And looks like Undying will be taking the Ogre's role in this game and just destroying this Shadow Fiend in this one-on-one matchup. However, SF already has 13 souls, let's say, so that's going pretty well for him. And in the bottom lane, it will just be the Darkseer versus this tri-lane, and he's not getting experience, nor does he have an Iron Talon.
So Luna should have a relatively easy lane down there. The top lane, off lane Tone, playing the clockwork. Is there much that Tone can do, do you feel, to zone out the Jug and the Rubik lane? Like, is he going to have much better time than the Darkseer?
What you need to do is, firstly, you need to be able to survive a lift and a spin combo, which means keeping yourself down. Secondly, you need to burn the Jug's mana so that he can't spin on you. If there's no spin, there's no kill threat, and that's why the Juggernaut got a mango, so he... Like, even if he's at 0 mana, then he can still go for a kill. I personally like the Magic Stick very early on combined with the Mango, so you don't have to expend 110 gold to maybe go for a kill that might not happen, especially because he has scroll town portal, he can just TP out if, after the telekinesis. But he's taking a lot of right-click harass from Sugar Baby.
Yeah, Sugar Baby just getting him right out the lane hit, forcing the clock back. The mid lane, CS-wise, it's even at the moment, so it looks like, regardless of the fact that Undying was hanging around, Ori, with that those bonus starting souls that he had, is still being able to keep CS up.
He missed the rocket. He tried to skill rocket to take off the salve, but he didn't. He got fogged.
Now I'm going to see HY actually wrap back round towards the mid lane, but not quite close enough for the Tinker to join in on the efforts. Invis Rune up on the top. Tinker with a bottle. He'll be able to get that up and ready.
Quite nice for him because he gets that bottle refill. If it were on the south rune spot, he wouldn't have been able to go because he might get SD Mirana. And they did pop a smoke. I didn't see one in their inventory, but they are going from the south side. If he pops his invis, I still think he might die.
If he can hit the raises, what? It's
yeah,
level 2 raises.
He'd have to have two of them. Okay, yeah. That was and the sentry was late. Wow. Okay.
A little, little slow on that one there, DuoBao. As the coordination of the team not quite there for that gank, and essentially time wasted for the SD and Luna.
And a smoke.
SD Mirana, sir. Yes. So fair few resources down the drain there with that play in mind.
At least Luna's getting good farm. She also has a casual mango, which I don't particularly favor over the Ring of Protection. I like the Ring of Protection because they're probably going to be 5-manning a lot with the Luna. That's kind of what you do. And having the Aquila is really strong. Arrow will hit. Is he going to die? He is.
He's just going to TP out.
Where is Luna? All you needed was one Lucent Beam, bro.
Oh.
That's more gold than
he's got boots. He could have got that.
Yeah, he was just farming creeps at the tower, which is, another sign of greediness / lack of coordination on their team. If you're your supporter, you yell at your Luna to help you out there. That's a big kill. It's a level 3.5 Darkseer.
Yeah, that could have been perfect for them there. Top lane, Tone. Having to deal with HY's and dying as well now as MAX.Y bring the tri-lane together. I think I'm not going to get so lucky with the rune this time around. It will spawn down on the bottom lane. And in the mid lane matchup, 21-19. Still slightly leading the way, Tinker, but very close nonetheless. As there's actually going to be HY coming back towards the mid on the side of it. It's like once again SD and Mirana putting their attention towards this Tinker and may try and make it happen a second time.
Undying's already sitting there though. Yeah. He can tank the arrow. Oh, arrow coming straight from behind.
Now they'll go for the disruption. They'll look to set up the raises. There's one. And he can hit the second one off here as well, but already HY giving him the clap, healing the Tinker up. I think he missed
one of the raises.
Yeah, he only hit 2 of the 3.
Yeah, he went in melee range with the Tinker, so nice play by him, dodging that raise.
Well, still certainly the good news for the side of DuoBao is the fact that, as you mentioned, Luna is getting the farm on the bottom lane. But these ganks from the SD Mirana not working out at the moment. So.
Uh-oh. He's going
to bring him low, but Toad himself could be the one in trouble. He's trying to finish off the jug, but there we have it, Ben. You said buy a stick, and it certainly saves his life there.
Buy a stick. Yep.
Challenge back out to safety. Oh, proper clarity. Looks like he's going to go the way back to base, though.
Pop a shrine, bro. It's just used in mid. That's sad. I wonder why he popped that clarity. That is not value.
Maybe to play Fury a rocket flare when the clock's back.
That is a play. However, it is only level 1 rocket flare.
Yeah, it wouldn't have killed him. I wondered if he was just going to clarity and a healing ward, but I guess he didn't want to stick around just in case SD and Mirana were on the hunt. And I mean, they are on the hunt. They're constantly moving around the map. Adong and White. But yet to really find any action. As it's their own side that's given away 2 kills so far. And they've not been able to set up anything for their teammates.
things are a little bit too slow-paced for them. With Luna, you want to be threatening towers early on. You want to get a lot of damage with that T1 tower. You want to keep the Darkseer nice and low so he doesn't get that mech up early. You want to kill the Tinker so he slow down his bots. Like, these are all things that DuoBao needs to do. If you trade farm, it's not that great because Tinker BOTs is going to stop their 5-man in their tracks, especially with him going to 2-2-2 build and not the very aggressive 4 and laser build that I've seen occasionally on the Tinker. So when he gets BOTs, and he's going to have it at a pretty decent rate at this time, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So looks like DuoBao is going to try and start to get the cogs moving by taking down the Observer Ward in the middle. That's the first step. So this SD and this Mirana can start moving around. They need to buy out more smokes because when you 5-man, you know, you're just coming from a very an angle that most people know that you're going to be approaching from. So it's like not that big of a deal. They can just Clockwork Hookshot in or Moonlight Shadow in lieu of a smoke. So I think the smokes are way more important in this point in the game than in the later 5-on-5 engagements. Tinker's farm is really good.
Yeah, he's having a great time. So is the SF, though, considering.
Yeah, SF had that really good start, though, and Tinker wasn't even the hero that got the first blood. I think the Invis runes certainly helped, though, and him dodging the gank. There were a couple of things that went pretty well for them.
So there are eyes onto Tone. H right down the sidelines. They're going to be bringing a TP in on the side of DuoBao, and they will try and fight this setup. Immediately onto the Jug. They'll close him in with the cogs, but the Blade Fury is more than enough damage to hold the clock back. Arrow isn't going to connect here, so Max will get away. A lot of attention being drawn from the side of DuoBao, and space opening up across the map. You know, Tinker gets a free lane, and the Darkseer continues to do his best to find what he can against the Luna.
Yeah, things are not going particularly well for them. There is a HOD. There is the rune, the haste rune on the Luna. Maybe if he had a different creep other than a siege creep, he might have been able to sneak in for a kill on the Tinker, but he deemed it too risky, and Chalice will resume the push on the top lane, also going for a Helm of the Dominator. Helm Dominator, very good here, I would say, for multiple reasons. One, it's just a good item. Secondly, it's really good at tanking Eclipse and tanking Omnislash, which we see on both sides. So maybe we might see some shenanigans in the middle of a team fight where you like Omnislash while dominating the enemy creep, so you can actually get full effect from your ultimate. But Tinker, he is at 1473 gold. Make that 1600 with that tower, so like they haven't even pressured a T1 tower yet. I guess a little bit in the mid lane, but that's kind of the first signs of any sort of push that we've seen from DuoBao, and this is not the type of the pace of game that you're really hoping for. So now you're just going to have to turn to plan B, which is getting Mirana level 6 and going for more ganks around the map, I would say, because 5-man grouping is just a pure waste of time versus a max March BOT Tinker. So BOT is going to hit around 10 minutes for Drug.
Yeah, really, really good timing. And Max, Sugar Baby come across their Tone, actually headed into the jungle. Maybe seeing if he could find a Tinker, but an immediate kind of reaction from the Rubik coming over, taking over the mid lane, getting himself some level 6 and CS. And make sure that the Tinker is safeguarded in that position in the jungle deep behind him.
It looks like DuoBao want to play the farm game. I see some ancient farming from them, but they need more ways to kill the Tinker. Right now, it's just Clockwork ulti. Like, I don't think SD Mirana is really viable at this point in the game, because normally what the Tinker is going to do is he's just going to march, and then you have to like walk through that. You need a way to like get to him really, really quickly. So looks like Clockwork and the SD and Mirana are going to smoke up. Tinker in a somewhat vulnerable position, I would say, but they do have the illusions to possibly block the hook shot if the position. Oh my!
Oh, Ben.
That is rough.
I guess it was blind though.
Yeah, that wasn't an easy one to hit.
Yeah, it was a blind hook.
They had the Observer Ward in the mid lane.
Oh,
just at a little bit. Yeah,
that was not a blind hook.
That was not a blind hook.
That was not a blind hook, man. Yeah, little unfortunate. Too bad. They're struggling to get these kind of initiations that they need.
I don't know when they're going to get a kill, Owen. Yeah. Well, it looks like MAX.Y about to notch another one up on the scoreboard. Are they going to use a scan to scout out this Luna? They have used a scan. Radiant has also used a scan to try and predict the smoking, but it might be a little bit too late. We see Mool run all the way back. They know the Luna's down there, but fighting into Eclipse could be a disaster. The stolen rocket.
And Luna tries for the TP out, but immediately, of course, with the telekinesis, Vontae in trouble. A stolen Lucid Beam as well being knocked down on his head by Sugar Baby.
That stolen rocket actually crushed that Luna. The thing about the Luna is she got really greedy there. She could have just TP'd out before the gank started coming, because it's a very common maneuver. Kill the carry, and kill the carry, take the T1 tower. And how do you know the carry is there? You scan. So if you're worried about that happening, you just TP out, you push another side lane. That will be the second tower down. Things are getting pretty bad.
DuoBao still seemingly struggling to get any sort of a grip on these fights. Still, SF continues to farm up. Ori.
He doesn't have a Tinker threat with his build. If you go Lance,
Yep.
Tinker's not scared about you killing him. The Yule's build, I think, is really good at killing the Tinker. The Shadow Blade into Silver Edge build is also okay at killing a Tinker, I would say. But right now, like, all he has to worry about this Clockwork, who hasn't even hit a hook shot yet. He's smoked up again in the jungle looking for the Tinker, but he's in mid.
Let's see if Tone can do anything.
Is he even going to get an Urn Charge this game? I don't know if that was the right item, buddy.
See if they get anyone on this top defense. They're pushing in. Any reaction from Max? So it looks like Max are just happy going for the trade as they take the mid-tier one. And there was a TP actually. Yeah, Tinker's just deciding where to head out to.
They're trying to fight into a Tombstone, though. It is only a level 2 Tombstone, and there is no Tinker there for to fight those. This could be a decent one for them.
Yeah, they do get the arrow. The hook shot coming across from Tone here. Tower still alive. Ori will burst down the Ruby. That'll be one kill, but in return, the Blade Fury from Chalice chops down the Shadow Demon, and he's not done yet. In with the Omni Slash, rips to pieces the Mirana. He's falling low, though, and a good Requiem from Ori slows down MAX.Y on the retreat. Tinker, can he get himself out? He can't. The damage is too much as they pick up a second. And now stuck in the cogs. Mool. Is it going to be focused? And okay. SF picking up huge kills there in that engagement. The tower still survives, man. They're going to be able to deny it.
They missed their timing. Look at Darkseer's items and Darkseer's gold. He was so close to his mech. I'm pretty sure he had probably like 800 gold. If he had that mech right there,
had it, yeah.
Yeah, they would have done very well in that fight. And they would have gotten a tower.
Yeah, that was a big swing. Suddenly, Shadow Fiend at the top of the board.
Yeah, nice play from the Clockwork, though, going in the back line and then forcing the Juggernaut to kind of commit because he was like trapped behind with the cog. Regardless, still a decent engagement by MAX.Y because it did end up getting a T1 tower, or it was denied, but it got taken down. So net worth lead only 3,000 for MAX.Y after that skirmish. Luna almost level 12, didn't even need to use Eclipse for the last fight. Looks like they're trying to go for a kill. Can they TP on anything down here? That is a negative.
He can go on the Tombstone, can't he?
No, you cannot.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's even needed. In fact, with a stolen Lucid Beam, Fonte falling low, thinking about the Eclipse, doesn't pop it, realizes that he will go down. And now, indeed, with Drog coming as the creep wave, they'll pick up the second. Max still showing us their strength when it comes to kind of finding heroes vulnerable out on the map on the side of DuoBao.
He was really scared about casting Eclipse because he didn't want to get Rubik it, but it probably would have been better to cast Eclipse because I think at least Clockwork would have gotten a kill. And if you're really quick about it, then you can cast it on cast your Lucent Beam before the telekinesis. But looks like Rubik will end up stealing Moonlight Shadow, and they will continue after that brief hiccup in the mid lane.
What do you think about this as well? The fact that the SF didn't just go for the Dragon, went for the full-out Hurricane Pike first.
You usually don't see Pike until later because you're not really that... I mean, we just saw the Pike there, but that's an extra, like 2,500 gold that you don't really need. I would say at this point in the game, it's not like there's a Clockwork on the opposite team, or like Rubik Lift is not that damning. You're not gonna die if you get like Rubik lifted, especially if you're a Shadow Fiend with an SD underneath you.
We have the setup with the Moonlight Shadows. They find Tone. They did actually drop down a Sentry or DuoBao. They knew that Max were going to go for that sort of a play, but it wasn't enough to save them. And the Sentry immediately gets dewarded as they pick up that kill as well, Max.
Clockwork's been dying so much. He's going for a Hand of Midas, so that's probably okay, I would say, given
Okay.
the pace of this game. I think he needs to be able to scale because their timing, like they can't take down the T1s and the T2s and do Roche. That's what you want to do early as a Luna. All that plan has kind of failed because of the missed roaming from the Shadow Demon and the Mirana, the missed hook shot by the Clockwork, and the timing of the BOTs on the Tinker. Now he has his Blink Dagger. Things are going to get a little bit worse for them. I would like to see them use the HOD creep a little bit better. You'll see the HOD creep like go into potential ganking opportunities so the Tinker can BOT on that. You mentioned like, oh, can he BOT on a Tombstone? You can't, but you can BOT on that Centaur Conqueror or whatever he may choose to dominate in the later phase of the game.
I mean, talking about dominate, do you normally just see one on the team, or could Darkseer still buy one? Or
it's a little bit late for Darkseer, I would say.
You'd normally, if you were going to get it on Darkseer, get it before the mech?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they will smoke up without the Darkseer for some reason. Looks like they might want to feign a maneuver with Darkseer showing in the mid lane. And
this could be messy, though.
This could be really messy.
DuoBao with the high ground advantage in the full 5-man, but it looks like they might just avoid each other totally. They're heading over to wrap around behind the tower. But in fact, that's going to mean that Shadow Fiend is pincered in, and the rest of the team, they're still in the river. They're not going to be able to get there in time to help the SF. So the SF gets taken down immediately.
He's probably like, where was my team? And the team probably like, what are you doing over there? Because they, all you need is like a simple Shadow Demon disruption, and then the fight can start. But Shadow Demon was not there because the SF was just kind of in a very awkward position. I do like the mass TPs by MAX.Y, like the two heroes that were away from the smoke, TP to the T1 to convene with the others that were smoked up. So that's that's kind of the teamwork that you want to see. You want to smoke us 5, not 3 strong, or in Shadow Fiend's case, 1 strong. A Dong hiding beneath the T2. I don't think they have a good way to scout him out yet. Maybe looking for like a Tinker to blink down there, but that's being a little bit ambitious. Looks like he just wanted to look for an easy setup, possibly into the Mirana arrow.
Max, they'll back off now that SF has respawned. Chalice very close to the ultimate, all for his Manza staff. And Jug, as indeed continues to have a very nice game. 2-1-4. Lots of space around the map for him to head out to. And well, bottom lane, Fonte was eyeing up the Darkseer, but very hard kill to get. Maybe if it was on his own, with an Eclipse and a Lucent Beam, he could have done it, but it would have been risky. Because the mech was there, Surge as well. And he could have played his way out of it, potentially Darkseer. DuoBao, I mean, I guess as this game goes on to the later portions, could DuoBao stall it? You know, we saw obviously the Midas being picked up by the clock. SD, Shadow Fiend, Luna, that kind of late game synergy. A little better than what Max have, or do you feel Tinker and Jug's always going to be a threat for DuoBao?
I think Tinker with Ags is a really good solution to Mass Illusion spam.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to that point, you're going to need a lot of items on Luna. Like, what, Butterfly, Manta, Butterfly, Manta, like BKB, I would say, are kind of the items that you need. But what I'm more worried about is like the Juggernaut and the Tinker farming way faster than their 2 counterparts on the opposite team. I think a Tinker with like Aether Ags, which is not that much money, it's only a little over 6,000 gold, is going to be able to deal with a Manta Butterfly Luna, which is almost twice as much gold as that. So like Tinker doesn't need that much net worth to be able to counter the push that DuoBao are going to be threatening in the later game. What they need to do is actually kill the Tinker so that you can proceed into a push. But as far as I've been seeing from the Tinker's play, he's been pretty safe around the map and hasn't really been able to he hasn't been in any compromising positions, really. Right as I say that,
Cast curse, Ben.
He didn't blink out. He got really greedy with the experience. Yeah. He like TP'd on the creep wave, and then on top of that, he was on the left side of the creep wave. You want to be right next to a creep, not right next to, but like 200 range of a creep so that you don't get hook shot. But looks like they are trying to kill the Luna or the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon just walks up the hill, and he is immediately chopped down by Juggernaut.
I mean, maybe was he drawing their attention away from the Luna?
Possibly, but I think they could have taken that fight 4v5.
Yeah.
Despite it being close to the shrine, I think the Luna Eclipse is incredibly difficult to fight against at this point in the game. but they choose not to. Sacrificing Shadow Demon, not a big deal. And Tinker was down, I think, more importantly.
Bottom lane, eyes onto the Darkseer. Tone will lead the way, has the backup of Ori. I mean, the damage from this SF, more than enough to take down a Darkseer.
And he's making plays with just the Midas, so that's really good for
This Darkseer was... He was toying with the idea there, Shadow Fiend.
Ooh, Sugar Baby wastes the dust on the right side, too.
I didn't catch anything there on the way out. So DuoBao.Y get another kill, get themselves out to safety.
2 pretty big kills, I would say. That's 2 cores.
Darkseer and Tinker out. Yeah.
Yep. I would also like to see the Undying go for an Axe as opposed to the Pipe. The Pipe is really good for the team fights, but I think the Scepter is going to scale way better for them into the later game. On top of that, they already have Null Field, so they already have some sort of magic mitigation. Tinker really shouldn't be getting hit by that much magic. Juggernaut already has Spin and Manta to deal with the Eclipse, so I already think they have like decent Eclipse counters. Maybe they're like a little bit more scared of the Requiem. Top lane. Oh my goodness, he is dead.
Ever since, you mentioned Ben, he was being, he's getting caught out now. I think jinxed him.
I think DuoBao is actually making much better maneuvers around the map too. Like there are heroes sitting in the trees, particularly the Shadow Demon, just waiting for the Tinker to carelessly farm out in that area, and he's just being way too predictable with his movements.
Well, Chalice, he's actually just going to walk in straight up Omni Slash here. It's actually put him in a bit of a bad position. He's the wrong side of the cogs. Just at the backup of the Undying though, and it looks like, with the Shrine, DuoBao.Y aren't going to move up to the high ground and chase Max for more.
That Omni Slash did like next to nothing though.
Yeah.
Against a Clockwork with no items. No defensive items, that is. That's scary. He does have his Maelstrom now. I think he just picked it up.
Yeah, I think he may have done. Yeah, as we can see, DuoBao.Y again, Ben!
Again?
Again!
Oh, why is he in the middle of the lane all the time?
Ben, what's the Tinker doing? He was having a great start. It looked amazing, but now 3 kills.
I don't know what he's doing.
I mean, do you think he's got to keep his cool, Ben? Maybe he's getting a bit tilted.
Maybe so.
3 deaths that quickly in lane.
In the same place.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 of them.
In the same place.
They even have a Sentry War, so maybe he felt safe. But this Clockwork's just being a boss.
Yes, he's stepping up, Clock. Tone. And with that, he's got the Blade Mail complete now as well.
Okay, Tinker was like #1 on net worth, tied with Shadow Fiend. Yeah. Now look at Shadow Fiend's relative to Tinker. That is ridiculous.
That is
how far that set him back.
Yeah, and Ori working for that BKB now as well. Once he's got that, it's going to be very little the Tinker's doing. And the Tinker as well felt pressure this game because of, I guess, the clock to build the 4 stuff. And I guess that's not really an item that you want to be having in one of your slots as a Tinker, is it? But something that you feel is necessary this game for him?
I personally don't think so.
No?
I think that if you're quick and if you're very elusive in the trees, you can get away without it. But it also does help his teammates a lot. I think it's more for the Rubik or the Undying, though. Like, that, as you mentioned, it's just not an item that you want to have. Like, Tinker's supposed to have, like, really big items. Aether is actually just an item that, like, you don't really want, but the cast range is just too good to pass up with the laser, short cast range. So right now, you'd prefer to have the Aether instead of the Force, and then Scepter instead of the Null Talisman. But, you know, he's not living in his ideal world of him being the most farmed hero on the map, just able to destroy people.
Actually, here in the dire jungle, there's been a bit of a kickoff. The wall has been dropped down. Ori getting to position with the Requiem, takes down one. That's the Darkseer out now. Luna's actually going to be the one to fall on the side of DuoBao.Y. So DuoBao.Y could be in a bit of trouble. Tinker's come across as well. He's trying to chase down Tone. Tone's out to the side. Disruption here to set up for another kill. Ori, can he get his way out of this one? Doesn't look like he can, so they will get the big kills this time around, taking both the Luna and the Shadow Fiend. Only losing the Darkseer. So a big fight for them, ending the kind of the farming parade of the Shadow Fiend. A lot of gold going the way of Undying thanks to that kill. So he will be put ever closer away. He's got the money for that pipe to be done now.
That was a really nice stun by the Centaur on the Juggernaut to kill the Shadow Fiend. And I also think they comboed the Luna really well. She knows she needs BKB now after that fight. She just got nailed by like a couple of rockets and then like vacuumed into a spin and just was almost dead before the Moonlight Shadow even came out. If she rushed a Pike, I'd be okay with it too, because she's like normally the one that's like kind of in the center of fights. Normally the fights are based around the Luna, but yeah. Shadow Fiend going for one. He could have had a BKB that fight if he didn't commit for a Pike, which I think would have made a big difference.
Yeah, the BKB is certainly have the potential here to turn these fights around. And it was a little questionable as well too about going over to that half of the map in the jungle of Max, getting caught out. Chalice on the jug, looking towards just getting that Skadi complete. Next up on him in bottom lane. Fonse, BKB progress still just about halfway there.
Wow, Drug's going for Scepter without the Aether. That's unusual. But probably deeming that he doesn't want to sell his Soul Ring or his bottle for an Aether.
Yeah.
What people do is they like stash the bottle. I think actually Tinker's much easier to play with a new stash.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier to micro the constant bottle refilling and Soul Ring at the fountain. And then you can just throw your bottle in the stash when you're about to TP out, and then you swap in your Aether Lens, because you don't actually want your Aether Lens when you're at fountain because it gives you max mana. You want as little max mana as possible so you heal faster in the fountain. So there's a little bit of mana maxing to be had. I would prefer the Aether myself just because I don't think he should be close. It's okay. He's not going to die from that.
Yeah, he's going to be right. It has to be a little careful if Tone heads up there, but yeah, Tinker already back out. They're going for Roche though, Ben, and they've taken it. Luna and Shadow Fiend at this stage, more than enough damage to take it without any presence of Max heading over to have a look in.
Yeah, you want the Ags right at this point though, so you can just like laser a creep and it'll bounce to the Luna. But unfortunately, with those few deaths, he is going to be very far behind his expected timing, and DuoBao can capitalize on this by pushing with the Aegis.
Up towards the top lane, and we'll see if Max can do anything to stop it. That's, yeah, BKB a few hundred away on Fonse.
Chalice is really close to his Skadi.
And just 600 gold and that progress to be made. And there we have it, DuoBao. I'll claim a tower with that beautiful illusion push. BKB complete now for both of their cores. So it'll be a lot harder for Max to make things happen. And as you mentioned, yeah, the Jugs get the Skadi. Other than that, I mean, it's a lot of this is reliant on the Jug to get the damage done once those BKBs are up. And you know, partly his damage with that Maelstrom is going to be negated.
Darkseer also needs a good vacuum wall to get illusions of the Luna and of the SF. The SF I think is particularly important, so you can get the presence of the Dark Lord aura. Clockwork's pretty farmed now. We saw him kind of just broke before, but after getting the Hand of Midas and getting those 2 kills on Tinker, now he has a Blade Mail and a Force Staff to boot. Force Staff, great counter to Tinker's own Force Staff. If you hookshot him, you can just keep chasing him down with Battery Assault. The good Clockworks won't or are able to play around the Force Staff on the enemy hero very easily. Like if Tinker has a Force Staff and you hookshot him and then you run a little bit forward and then you cog the Tinker back, and then he doesn't really have a choice as to where to Force Staff. He's either forced to Force Staff like into a subpar position, like either up or down, let's say, if straight back to the base is like right, and he's going to have to run away from his team, or he has to Force Staff like into the cogs, which is obviously not very ideal either. So I'm looking forward to potentially big plays from the Clockwork as he is invisible behind enemy lines.
Could get a good way to kick this off. They're going to use the Moonlight. They want to try and dive the tower and go for this one with the vision that they already have. A good arrow. It's going to hold back the Darkseer here. Immediate BKBs coming out from the 2 cores of DuoBao. They'll chomp down on the Darkseer. Looking towards the Tinker. They have the Shadow Demon set up to go. Tone closing the gap, but actually doesn't get the Battery Assault proc, so the Tinker will be able to escape. The Omni Slash bounces aren't good though. It needed one more slash onto the Clockwork to finish him off. So DuoBao won't lose anyone.
That definitely should have been a kill on the Tinker right there.
Yeah.
They used the Demonic Purge early on the Juggernaut, but one of the teammates needed to be there to follow up. That's a catch that you're not going to get very often. A Tinker without his Force Staff, without a Blink Dagger, downhill, and caught in the disruption. That would have been so good for them. Wow, this Mirana's farm. What the heck?
There's your Ags is complete on Tinker now. And going straight. Ags for the Bloodstone. Next up. So he has all the high ground spam ability potential to hold back these pushes from DuoBao. Chalice.
Yeah.
Looking to chase down White. Did get the Scardy hit onto him, and White already used a leap, but the BKB, so the Blink's back up cooldown. He's out. Bottom lane, Rubik in a lot of trouble. Tinker was thinking about coming over to maybe potentially help out, but not a lot that he can do against the 3-man here. As
he was so close to his Blink Dagger, too.
Oh, he was. That's what he was looking for, wasn't he, down in this lane?
I think it's time to just sell your stick and buy that Blink Dagger so you have it. With this last T2 being taken down, if they don't mount a defense, which I don't really blame them because the Rubik is down and Tinker does not have bio. Wow, he's going for Aether after the Ags. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's changed that up as well because he did have the Bloodstone queued.
I said, I mean, you might as well just go for Bloodstone at this
point.
Yeah. That's not true. He did get caught out, though, because he didn't have the extra range. I don't know. I just don't think his position was that great to begin with.
This Jug. He's... Oh, the helmet, the Dominator.
That was a nice play by the Juggernaut right there.
Good old Wolf. Blocking the hook shot.
Trusty, trusty Wolf. And yeah, space just good enough.
I would have been a dead Jug if he wasn't able to make that play. And Flamiona done as well now for Chalice. Aegis is gone. But DuoBao, they'll take one shrine, or at least try to. Pings are coming out. Max, do they want to head over? They'll start to throw out some of the rockets. And in fact, that spooked DuoBao enough by the looks of it as they head away from the shrine. And looks like Max will be able to hold on to it for another day. The Illusions, though, still having something to say about the shrine.
He should not be standing that close to the shrine. He needs to be standing a little bit further away. He just got, I guess it's not that much damage. It's like 300 damage on the shrine. But, you know, you want to min-max in these situations. He also took a lot of damage himself because of him being too close to the shrine. If Luna's just hitting one target and her glaives aren't bouncing, she doesn't actually do that much damage. It's really the glaive that just make her ridiculously strong. Well, smoke coming out from the 4 other members that aren't Tinker as they swarm down the mid lane. Tinker thought about TPing mid to maybe bait out like an SD or a clock.
The thing about this gang is, well, there's no way that Tinker can join.
They have a Helmet Dom creep, but there is no Helmet Dom creep with them, so you are correct.
So we'll just be the 4 of them. They have found a Shadow Fiend. Immediately telekinesis. Is he going to get a chance to play his way out of his pods? The BKB, the Manta. Hurricane Pikes to the side, but he's not going to escape. And suddenly, Shadow Fiend down and out for 85 seconds. Does not have buyback either here as well.
That was a nice gank. And they got that Observer Ward on the high ground too. They are still lacking a gem on the Dire side, which would be very useful in the team fights because of Moonlight Shadow, which the Mirana is prepared for sentries with a gem of her own, but that's a pretty big kill.
That's only still nearly a minute. No Shadow Fiend for this defense. Max, what's the plan? Do they want to see if they can try and poke out what they would think is a buyback?
They definitely should, I think.
They keep the pressure on here.
Juggernaut's still really big relative to everyone else on the Radiant side, even more farm than the Luna. Luna's sieging a lot with their illusions.
I'm being very careful about this push to Max. And it looks like still with 25 seconds, no Shadow Fiend, they don't feel confident sticking around. They'll back away. Ether Lens done for the Tinker. Blink Dagger completed on Darkseer. And so, yeah, Jog just continues to put pressure in on all of the lanes.
It's a pretty compromising position to push a T3 without the shrines down because they can wrap around very easily. Like once SF respawns, he can like BKB from the back and just annihilate the supports. So I think that's a good play for them. Normally, I'd be like, okay, maybe they should probably force a Shadow Fiend buyback, but because they haven't taken down the shrines, that should be their next priority, especially before this next Roshan is about to respawn. You do not want to give Luna another Aegis. If Jug has an Aegis, that's really good for MAX.Y because he can just man up on the Luna, and vice versa for the Luna. He can just man up on the Juggernaut and or the Tinker if he can actually catch the Tinker and trade his or her life for that.
Oh, they're camping at the moment on top. Maybe hoping that the Tinker would reveal himself.
Yep.
It's all about hunting him down. And without him dead, it's so hard for them to push in these lanes.
He's not even using his Aether Lens. Okay, now he has swapped it in. Why is he swapping it in at the fountain? That's strange. He's a strange Tinker player.
Strange Tinker player.
Yeah, normally you swap your bottle in at the fountain.
Yeah, to boost up the regen, yeah.
But he had a swap. He had his bottle outside of the fountain and he had his Aether Lens inside the fountain. That's a few seconds of farming or whatever you want to be doing.
I mean, but still, you've still got that 6-second item cooldown, haven't you, when you swap it? Oh, wait, no, because you're at the base.
No, you're at the base.
Yeah, sorry, you're correct. Yeah, there's yeah. He don't need to do it. He's chilling.
Go on, swap that. He's already at full mana, I suppose.
Yeah, he's keeps rearming.
Okay, let's watch him when he's not at full mana. Okay, if he is made of efficiency. If he were really made of efficiency, he would. I don't think you can actually drop your Ags because of some of the Ags that change your abilities you can't drop. Like Ogres.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm not sure about Tinkers. But
yeah, because it's not actually adding a skill, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird with some of the acronyms.
Force Staff you could also stash if you wanted to be mega efficient.
Get rid of that.
I'm judging him.
Are you a Tinker player, Ben?
I am a Tinker player.
You are a Tinker player?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy playing Tinker?
Yeah, it's great. You just spam missiles and try not to get caught. Well, Aegis.
Oh, Arrow. Initially holding back one. And
Where's the Darkseer vacuum wall? He has a Blink Dagger, but it is a little bit risky going inside right there without vision.
Well, that's the Aegis into the hands of Fonte. Haste as well. A hook shot straight away from Tone, catching the Darkseer in the back of it. The damage from this Shadow Fiend just rips the Rubik apart. Tombstone out as well. And this Shadow Fiend's not potentially done. He has that Haste Rune. See if he can catch out anything else. Oh, man.
Shadow Fiend's talents are really good. Like, he hits for he was hitting for 390 with Luna Aura because of the damage per soul. And, like, he's just such a formidable right-clicker in the late game, even doing more damage than the Luna, at least per click at this point in the game.
Yeah, 390 damage.
Yeah. Compared to that to Jug, who's, like, pretty monstrously farmed. Like,
230.
Yeah, 230. He has more attack speed, but he doesn't have Presence of Dark Lord.
And he's not ranged.
Yeah, and he's not ranged, I think. Yeah, that's pretty important.
And, playing against the clock and even just the Mirana ST combination, it's quite easy for the Jug to be kited, especially, because he hasn't got a BKB. He obviously doesn't want to get one, but still proving hard for him to get the damage done in these fights.
Especially with no Aegis.
Yeah.
He has to just play on the back foot all the time. Oh, he's going for the Yules. The Yules is incredibly good at killing a Tinker because it's very difficult to rearm after.
Oh!
Wow, that was without a...
Very nice.
That was without a rocket, too. That was very nice.
Yeah. I mean, because they rocketed him further down, but then the Tinker did rearm, force, and blink. But still, Tone was able to get the line and get the kill. Tone, though, will be in trouble for this by the looks of it. Chalice and Sugar Baby do punish the Clockwork.
Still always worth killing a Tinker.
Not that Tinker, because look at this push that then comes in immediately. Straight down a lane.
And I don't think he's going to have enough time to defend. They will lose the racks if he doesn't buy back in, like, the next 10 seconds.
Yeah, they've got to get back. Darkseer, no TP for 20 seconds. Undying doesn't have a TP as well. So there will be a bit of a time where they are weaker. Yeah, Tinker buys back.
They're still going to get so much damage on that T3. 700 HP left. No Tinker buyback. All it takes is just one more gank like that on the Tinker, and it's game over for Max. So, Tinker, this game is in your hands. Clockwork, it's also in your hands. And also Mirana. I mentioned Mirana like being pretty good at killing a Tinker. With this build and being this farm, I think that he can easily catch out a Tinker and maybe not solo kill, but be really close to solo killing. The Tinker went for... Tinker's talents are a little bit strange if you look at them. Just because... like, the 4% spell limit is just so little, but you really shouldn't be getting hit. Like, 200 health I don't think it would have saved him from any of these ganks. So,
I mean, I guess that's the same. I mean, when you're level 25, you don't really want to be taking the life steal, do you, man?
Generally, no. Yeah,
yeah.
because you shouldn't.
If you're losing life, you're.
But it is pretty tempting. Like 20%.
I mean, it's a lot, and with the
with the refraction on the laser, so you have like 320. Let's say like 10 targets. I see is a lot. 5 targets, let's say. So
well, 320 sounds Where's P5?
Yeah, so you would do like for 320. You hit for a little bit more because of the Aether Lens.
Yes, with the extra percent and the talent spell amplification.
4%, which is what, like 17 damage, and then another 5%, which is another 18 damage. 320 times 16 damage. So you're life stealing for like 350 if you hit 5 people with a laser, and then you hit 4 people with rocket. That's also another like 300-ish. So like if you do a volley of it's like 500 heal. Or you could just do 100 laser damage times 5 for refraction. Well, that Eclipse is not casted yet. I thought he casted it. It looked like a lot of stuff was about to happen. But Tinker is so scared. He doesn't want to die again.
Wow, look at this base. Yeah. They just have to lose the racks here because none of them want to jump in for any sort of initiation. So DuoBao get the racks. They get back. And actually, with that arrow connected, they just want to go back in. Now Fonte pops the Eclipse. They'll take the Juggernaut out and down. He's out for a full 100 seconds. Was not holding on to money for a buyback. So no Jug. This could get even more painful for Max.
Yeah, I think the Luna should just be... Oh, my goodness. He got hooked. Oh, he got saved by the Force Staff, but... Luna really low. Maybe wants to let the Aegis tick down so she can heal up and go round number 2. If they want, is that Illusion going to finish the tower? No. 17 HP left. They're in a lot of trouble. I think it's pretty much a matter of just 5 manning. They could potentially just wait for the next Aegis if they wanted to. That's the safest way to play.
Oh,
Sugar
Rubik.
Baby, what?
Oh, dear. I mean, this game really felt like it just massively fell apart for Max, because at the start, remember, Max were doing everything right and DuoBao were doing everything wrong, but...
It was the Tinker getting caught out like 3 times on bottom.
Yeah,
he
just kind of tilted out.
Yeah, it's one of those heroes, though. It's like Queen of Pain, you know? If you die 3 times in a row in the mid-game, you're just going to be useless. And there's just very little room for error, I would say, in this particular sort of situation, and he's going to get hook shot again, and his teams are just going to melt as they try and save him.
Yeah, it's just Max suffering heavily now as they're on the verge of getting Mega Creep.
Tinker, it's your time. Everyone's pretty low. You can do it. Oh my, that's a satanic. She gained almost full HP from that.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, 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 indeed. Yeah, it's one of those heroes, there's just very little room for error. You have to be very precise with your blink positioning in the trees. You have to be ready for Clockwork to be hunting you down, because that's his primary job this game, just to hunt the Tinker down. You have to be very careful about your item build. I don't necessarily agree with the Force Staff. It didn't save him in like really any of these engagements that a support wouldn't have been able to. Like whenever he gets solo caught out by the Clockwork, the Force Staff hasn't saved him at all. And in the team fight, you have your teammates to back you up. So they need the Tinker there for damage. Not necessarily for the utility, aside from the blind, so they don't siege the high ground. And this will be the YOLO smoke, potentially game-ending fight right here. If they catch the Luna without the SD, I think they can win the fight. But as 5 of them are sitting on the high ground, they know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, Max is going to have a lot of difficulty trying to find a pick here.
And he walked into, I believe the creep wave saw him, because all of them pinged out as he dropped that observer ward.
Yeah, they know that something's up for sure. DuoBao and are not about to be caught out off guard by it.
Juggernaut was hiding in the trees, and the Luna Illusion scouted him out. It's nighttime. Nighttime's so much more difficult to fight under against the Luna. Shadow Fiend smoked out. Ooh, hookshot was really close, and that was a blind one. Dude, been spot on with these.
Yeah, he had
He's
that
been
kind of
hurt.
rough start where we saw him whiff a couple, but
Yeah.
ever since, yeah, he's been going pretty ham in these fights.
Yeah, he really has. He's hit a lot of blind hooks. And some of them were without ags, too. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know.
He wasn't chancing it, he was committing.
Yeah. But, that, you know, that's what you got to do versus Tinker. Or else he's just going to get big.
There's one set of racks here on the top. Can DuoBao find the window to push in. At the moment, again, they're still sort of backing up. It's pretty good warding here for Max. You know, they're well aware of what's going on from the side of DuoBao.
They've had the gem for a while, though, on the Radiant side. Mirana's had hers for like 20 minutes, I want to say. And then Shadow Demon picked up one of Dyer's.
Yeah.
So there's only so much that Chalice can do at this point in the game. As a Juggernaut, I don't think he has enough damage to burst through all these illusions. That's why you need to Tinker to clear out the illusions and then the Juggernaut to deal with the BKBs. I would honestly say it's rapier time for Juggernaut. I think it's...
I mean, he's how does he kind of mix the slots up? Because he's already kind of having to switch around the Helm and the Skadi.
Probably Manta, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blink Dagger.
Does he still need that?
Blink Dagger, I would actually say instead of Manta. I don't know. What are those two though?
Okay.
Because I think they just severely lack damage during BKB at this point. Chalice is caught out. They don't have a way to stop spin TP. Oh my
Tone
goodness.
is there. And the Jug is down.
Okay, yeah, this Clockwork.
He's doing amazing time.
He was really close to just blinking out too. This Clockwork has to feel good about himself.
Yeah, big kills to be had. Yeah, 85 seconds down. It's definitely looking likely that the DuoBao should be able to force a buyback out with its push. As Max will need the Jug alive. That is for sure. Let's see what they can do at the moment. Oh, again, Tone leads in immediately. Will be telekinesed before there's a chance to get out the cogs. Actually, the stolen hookshot coming through there, but it's just in the back of his teammates. Now, with the Eclipse, Fonte moving forward, forcing Max back. That'll be the buyback from Jug. That will cause them to back off.
Still have Aegis for a good 4 minutes.
Now, no Eclipse, but at the same time, there's no wall. As Max did drop that. Kind of eyes on Tone as well, just see when he goes in.
There is a buyback
Again.
on the Tinker too.
Yeah.
So Jug is priority number 1. If you can kill him in the middle of a team fight, which is generally pretty difficult unless you get an arrow on him or a disruption in an arrow.
It's a little bit interesting, isn't it, Ben? Jug, going for the Blade Fury DPS rather than the 20 agility.
Blade Fury DPS is sick, dude.
I mean, it is a lot.
Not for his build, though.
Yeah.
I think that 20 agility would have been better to this game, personally. But I think he's kind of in that position where he's not able to right-click that many people. So he figures...
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at that.
It certainly clears out the illusions.
Yeah. I also think he can't really go for Max Blade Fury just because of the Demonic Purge. Demonic Purge destroys him, and he's versus range heroes, so they can easily attack him without worrying about the Blade Fury DPS. Well, looks like next round of illusions, or these two siege creeps are going to be able to truck down this tower. 31 HP left. Oh my goodness.
And there we have what you said, Chalice can force. He will get himself out just in time here. And Max actually keeping everyone alive. The tombstone out. It does have the back again. I mean, this Rubik, he's kind of hit the stolen hook shot into the back of his own creeps or his own teammates 2 times now. Not sure what he's quite trying to achieve with that one, Sugar Baby. But, well, things said and done. DuoBao actually heading away from the top lane. They're not sticking around, Ben.
Too many heroes were low. They don't have any way to top people off. Only the Luna with her Satanic can give her like a fresh breath of HP.
Tinker's still not quite in the position that he wants to be in terms of farming.
Yep, Dagon
And
5,
XP.
Scythe, EB. Any of these items would work wonders for him. Dagon especially. Dagon 5 I think would be the best choice here.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to deal with BKB in this game because you can just pop it before they get their BKB. If you scythe this game to try and deal with the BKB, Shadow Demon will just disrupt. So I think that the Dagon 5 is much more useful, so you can actually get them in a kill range with the Juggernaut. Right now, Juggernaut, like he doesn't Omnislash because no one's going to die from it. They need people to get low, and that's what Tinker is supposed to be there for. Spamming missiles so they get to like half HP, spamming lasers so they get to half HP, Dagoning people so they get to kill range, but no one's in that kill range, and they are going to smoke through mid. They have dropped in Reserve Reward. Where is Tinker? Can they find him?
Tone leads in immediately. They catch out the Rubik. A couple of hits there from them, and the gems on the ground. Rubik down for 70 seconds. BKB pot by Ori. Focuses the Tinker. Tinker's down. No buyback on him. 2 dead on the side of Max. This could be it as DuoBao cleaning up the side. They've lost to Shadow Demon, but they don't matter. It doesn't care as it's GG. Well played. Arrows here on Chalice on the way out as well as this game. DuoBao recovered from what looked like a dodgy start. And at the end of it all, I don't know what happened to Max. They just went downhill kind of from the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, look at the net worth. One of these cores was not like the others. You see 3 lines on that net worth chart? Where's the Tinker?
Where is the Tinker?
He is very far down.
Hang on, which one? Yeah,
he's
Tinker
brown.
is... Okay, yeah, he is. At least
he's
he's ahead of the pack, but yeah.
Yeah, see, his start was like pretty decent.
It was, yeah, the 10 minutes
20
in,
minutes.
he's there.
20 minutes, that's when he started dying to the clockwork. But overall, it was a pretty valiant effort. I'm generally not a big fan of the second phase Tinker pick.
No, it was an early pick, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think I've seen Escape do it because they do have Koikva on the Tinker, and he's a really sound Tinker player that doesn't get caught out in unnecessary situations and is able to be extra efficient in terms of his farming. The Tinker has like a dream start. Like
it is, yeah. He got a really quick
10 minutes. Yeah. But the game's not all about farming. It's about not dying, killing people, 5-manning, winning team fights.
Yeah. Very impressive showing indeed from the side of DuoBao here in Game 1. We'll see if they're able to do it again in Game 2 or if Max can switch it up and probably not see the Tinker pick again, or if they do so, pick it on later in the draft. We'll see what the plan's going to be. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, here at WESG, myself and Ben. We're back in a minute for Game 2 between DuoBao and MAX.Y.